I have a low self-esteem problem. I've had it for most of my life. The majority of it comes from my being deformed. It wasn't until I got into junior high that the mocking got kicked into high gear. I can't imagine being a kid nowadays. It used to be, when I was a kid in school, that if I did something embarrassing, it was confined to that school. Nowadays, it would be filmed, and by the end of the day, several people in Europe would be laughing their asses off at you. I tried going to church several times, and I just wasn't getting from it what I should be getting from it. I found that some of the people around me were going to church like they were, buying lottery tickets. If they do it often enough, there's going to be a big payoff. I decided that that the answer for me is doing this. Doing this scares the hell out of me. If I can get my message across without stuttering, then that's half the battle. If I can get people to listen, then that's the second half of the battle. A few weeks ago, I was driving in the neighborhood and I came across this cat that was lying in the middle of the road. Her head was up, so I knew she was still alive. As I drove past her, she didn't even move, so I thought maybe she might be injured. So I pulled the car over to the side and went up to her and knelt down, and I started petting her, and I realized that she was just must have gone weeks without eating, because she must have weighed about 1 or 2 pounds. I mean, she was all bone. She was a beautiful cat. She was long hair and different shades of gold. I picked her up and put her into the back seat of my car, and as I was doing that, she was purring my hand. I left her in there for a little bit, and I noticed I stopped near a library, and I really didn't know what to do, so I went in there and kind of asked around, where can I take this cat, to get it better. And this lady mentioned that there was a TAPS, like a no-kill shelter, in the next town. So I decided that's what I'll do. Got back into the car, and before I actually left the town, I went to the village hall, and I'm not sure why I did this, but I just gave the lady there a description of the cat, just in case somebody was looking for her. And after that, I went to a couple stores, a couple grocery stores, and kind of looked at bulletin boards, like with cars for sale and stuff for sale. And they also had things on missing pets, and I noticed that she wasn't on there. So after that, I drove over to the next town, and as I was driving there, I was kind of looking in the back, in the rearview mirror, and looking at her in the back seat, and she had curled herself up into a ball and was fast asleep. And once I got found the TAPS and went in there, a whole bunch of these people who worked were working behind the counter. Just all eyes were drawn to the cat, because they could see right away that she was pretty bad off. And I put the cat on the table, and it wasn't until that the lady behind the counter, when she took the collar off, that I realized exactly how skinny she was, because I felt her neck, and her neck must have been about that big around. And apparently, at that time when I took the cat in, that their vets, their doctors or whatever who take care of the animals there, were all busy. So the lady who was behind the counter, who was kind of paying attention to the cat a lot, decided that she would take her to her own vet. And we exchanged numbers. And I told her that I wanted to give her a call back, tomorrow or the next day, to find out how she was doing. And well, she told me to call around noon. She would know then. So I left the place feeling pretty good, and I felt I did some good. And the next day when I called in around noon, I got in a hold of the lady, and she had told me that the cat had passed away during that night. It was just too far gone. It was in her cage. She was in her cage, and she had curled up and just passed away. And it was weird what I was feeling, because I wasn't with this cat for more than an hour. And when the lady was telling me all this, it was like I lost a cat that I've had for about 10 years. And I realized, then, the pull animals have on me, especially cats. I've been through some pretty bad times, and Samantha, the cat, you've seen the cat before, she would sense that, and she would jump on my lap, and she would purr me, and then I'd calm down. Cats carry with them unconditional love. They dole out love only to those who have, love to return. And as I look at Samantha, I realize that I have a long way to go to reach her level of compassion and understanding. There are certain words that make me cringe. It's not the words themselves, but it's how they're being used. The first word is retard. It's used to describe a person who is supposedly stupid. I have a brother who is mentally handicapped. Actually, he's EMH, which means educably mentally handicapped. It isn't that severe, but it doesn't, stop the mocking. If you look at the word itself, it means that the capacity for intelligence has been stunted or retarded. Stupidity comes from people who have the capacity for intelligence but never use it. Short bus is another aggravating phrase meant to describe, a vehicle for stupid people. I remember one morning, the little yellow bus pulled out in front of the house, and my brother did not want to get on it. He yelled, he screamed, he cried. He knew what people were saying about him. He just wanted to be one of the guys and, and fit in. I know people who have been mocked or picked on would much rather be punched. Scratches and bruises heal. Words, however, leave gaping wounds to the heart and mind that'll never heal.